Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so yesterday with the release of the new content, we all got the opportunity to pick 3-star or 3 and 2-star Hulkling or weekends basically. So I chose to pick a 3-star Hulkling because his ability set kind of seemed a bit more interesting in me. And I can kind of already half confidently expect that he's actually going to be quite bit of a cosmic beast, maybe a bit of powerhouse, in my opinion. I think initial impressions of this champion have been nowhere near as positive as they should be in this case. And I'm gonna try and make the case for Hulkling. Now, keep in mind that I obviously am very new to using Hulkling and by no means know the best rotation. In fact, the rotation that I'm gonna use in this first fight is probably the one that I wouldn't use in majority of the situations now that I have played slightly more with Hulkling, because I realized that the level 1 isn't really necessary to kind of get basically the best out of this guy, and you really just kind of want to spam your level 2s. So here I do go for level 1, which was kind of like a recommended thing in the deep dive to increase the charge, and it just won't be that needed. So then I'm gonna go in for the hits in block to get the pierce. Now I'm unblockable. You always want to throw your special attack when you are unblockable, but look at those numbers. So he crits for like 2,800, something like that. Sorry, he doesn't crit for 2,800. And then when the crit came, it was nearly 4k to 3,900. And then the mediums and lights, all of those hits do quite a lot of damage. And that was one of the things that we can never really figure out from the deep dive. But Hulkling actually is going to be a really, really hard-hitting champion, in my opinion. And also, one of the coolest things, obviously, about Hulkling is that he's going to be able to deliver a ton of damage through block. And that's what we're going to see here again. So 2.5, so basically 4 hits on level 2 for a 3-star. None of them hit this time around, but it was still like 10,000 damage there, even though none of those hits crit due to those massive furies. And this is obviously with Liquid Courage Double Edge on. I did make, some mistakes. I did mess up a bit, did take a few hits in a block. And so he finished this fight in 71 hits in 1 minute 25. And again, I don't think I did the best rotation for him. But nonetheless, we're going to compare how it looks like with CGR. Now, again, with CGR, I'm not going to dispute that there could be more fast or effective rotations. I'm going to go with the standard level 2 rotation, where basically you just get your judgments up and spam level 2s. We will not be going for level 3, because, that is for most part how majority of the time we end up using CGR in, Alliance Wars and everything else. So this is the CGR with the level 2 here, and we're going to basically just recycle those level 2s. And obviously CGR is one of the highest damage dealing champions in the game. When CGR came out, everybody was like absolutely bonkers on his damage and all that stuff. Nothing else mattered. CGR is the damage machine. Thou shall eternally love big yellow numbers. Well, guess what? Hulkling doesn't compare bad against CGR at all. Now, with Liquid Courage Double Edge, and again, saying that I did not necessarily use the best rotation for the champion, CGR is going to be faster. CGR is going to be faster. So we will compare these fights in a second, but it's not that big of a difference here either. So CGR does this fight in 51 hits and 1 minute. Hulkling did it in 125, I believe, and 71 hits. But we're also going to take a look at these fights without Liquid Courage Double Edge on, which is, just as important kind of indicator. And now we're going to do the same thing with Hercules, basically. So I did screw up that first fight. I had to restart it, so there is a bit of a whoopsie moment. And I do try to play Hercules again as well as possible, try to ramp him up as quickly as possible, get the 3 precisions, get the 3 cruelties, and all that other stuff kind of going, the optimal rotation for Hercules. Obviously, Hercules does have the advantage of the fact that he ramps up quicker fight per fight, so if you do use him in consecutive fights, you don't need to pay as much attention to getting those intercepts in. But for initial fight, you do, again, kind of often put yourself in quite a bit more risk, especially recently, now that opponents have learned to intercept us left, right, and center. Hence, I had to restart the fight as well. And at this point, here we can see that Hercules is pretty much all ramped up. And this is, again, Liquid Courage Double Edge active Hercules of equal star level. Everything is virtually, the conditions are exactly the same. These are consecutive fights. As we can see, I even recorded them in the same clip. playing super aggressively, and Hercules does this in 59 seconds, 54 hits. So virtually the same as CGR there as well. And now we're going to take a look at all three of these fights, yet again, just without Liquid Courage Double Edge. So I do have to place Alliance for defense. I was planning to take off my recoil masteries anyhow. And this time you're going to see me fight with Hulkling slightly differently. I basically pay no attention to my charges for vast majority of the time in this fight at all. I just want to get kind of close to 2 bars of power. Sometimes you do kind of want to slow down with Hulkling just to let those charges kind of grow up a bit. But I don't think it is worth throwing that level 1. So here you just go for the blocked hits, and yeah, I did shoot that level 2 slightly early, but we still got the 2 Furies. Here I got lucky that he didn't finish his combo, but it's a good opportunity to showcase that regeneration, which is actually going to be very, very, very handy to have, because that regen is definitely very potent. It's, I believe, 60 or 65% of the damage taken that gets regenerated, plus it is a subject to recovery mastery, so yeah, that regen will definitely save everybody's skin quite often. And here I am back at another level 2, going for it again. These don't crit for 2k something, then crit is for 3k. And we can see, again, Hulkling putting up numbers, and one of the cool things, obviously, about Hulkling is that he's going to be one of those champions that we do not have too many of in game that does a ton of damage through block. And here, I kind of feel that the key with Hulkling at times will be just not to punish opponent immediately after their special attack and then get to their block, and that is kind of all that you need to do, because that time also gives you, you know, ability to get those cosmic charges. So with a slightly different rotation, but without Liquid Courage Double Edge, we did it in 67 hits and 1 minute and 30. It's virtually identical how I did it before with Liquid Courage and Double Edge. Hence, leads me to believe that, you know, this rotation is much better just going for level 2s. So keep in mind, 67 hits, 1 minute 30, and now I'm redoing the same fights with the same rotations. Again, both of the fights go, you know, about as well as you can have them. I'm using the level 2 rotation here for CGR. Again, I'm not arguing that level 3 rotation might be quicker in these kind of circumstances, but I just wanted to go for like the standard that majority of the people use. 77 hits, 125. Again, compared to Hulkling, 130, 67 hits. So less hits, 5-second difference, virtually identical. And Hercules actually kind of, ironically, is about to score the same as CGR did. I think it's 77 hits, so 67, and 125. So I had so much confidence on Hulkling that I immediately put him up against, you know, the best champions the Cosmic class has to offer. And obviously this does not showcase each champion's individual utilities and immunities and all that other thing, of whom I think Hulkling has his fair share. Immunity to power, drain, burn, and steal is obviously crazy useful and becoming more and more useful these days. Ability to deal a ton of damage through block can be extremely helpful too, and ability to effectively ignore anything and everything that Penny has to offer, and why she is annoying. And I'm sure that the same translates to champions like MODOK or Medusa and stuff like that. So I do think that Hulkling will definitely have a place in the game. Hulkling is a champion that I kind of view completely opposite to, let's say, Wong. I'm not going to say that Wong is a bad champion at all. Absolutely love using Wong. He's very, very fun to play. But in reality, I just don't have any clear sense of what I'm going to do with Wong if I take him to rank 3. Will I use Wong in Alliance War attack? Don't think so. Would I use Hulkling in Alliance War attack? Possibly. Quite possibly. Would I use Wong in Alliance Quest? Don't think so. Would I use Hulkling in Alliance Quest? Quite possibly, yeah. Do I think Wong is going to be good for many Battlegrounds metas? Not really, because of the ramp up. Do I think Hulkling is going to be good for a lot of Battlegrounds metas? Absolutely, because Penny is, you know, ever-present threat. I think, you know, against Power Snack, he might not be the option to go with offensively. Same time, defensively, I think his indestructibility and his regen could, be fairly annoying to deal with without having a very, very good mystic counter to it. So here we are, right? And after initial testing, after kind of like going through everything logically in my head, subject to balance changes, can't stress this enough because balance changes exist. But so far, what I have seen from Hulkling, I definitely think that he's a very good addition to the game. I clearly see spots, matchups, nodes that I would want to use him, and I definitely can tell for a fact that right now Hulkling is someone that I would want to acquire for my account and rank him up. Obviously, ultimately, how well that decision will play out, nobody knows what kind of content is coming and how much I would actually end up using Hulkling. But I can realistically see myself using him a lot. And that's quite important, in my opinion. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. And the results definitely kind of surprised me. The damage-wise, he effectively hangs in there with Hercules and CGR. And, this again is one of those misleading things of deep dives or us not having 5 or 6 star Hulklings yet. Definitely looks very, very good with a very, very good damage. I'm going to catch you guys soon, so yeah. Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next